economist at Pakistan Institute of Living and Learning, to please present his part of the domain. Mr. Mohsin.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Uh, my name is Mohsin Ali, and today I'm going to present a systematic review, and it's based on the Sustainable Development Goals. And the title of the review is Economic Determinants of Mental Health Problems Among Older Adults in Pakistan. Next, please. This review is based on the 5 Sustainable Development Goals, and it includes the poverty. Uh, the next is the zero hunger. The third is the decent worth and economic growth. It refers to the employment status of a person. The next is industry, innovation and infrastructure. It refers to the industrial revolution and the transformation. The last is reduce inequality in terms of monetary aspect. The question of the review is the what are the economic factors that will lead to the mental health issues, and is there any intervention available in the market who will help to cope up those mental health illness. Next, please. The left box shows the economic factors. This may include income security, debts, assets, food security, employment, and so on. These key economic factors are one of the leading causes to bring these mental health outcomes that are mentioned in the right side block, includes depression, anxiety, substance abuse, psychosis, suicides, and so on and so forth. These key factors were used in the different electronic data search base, and we have got the results from them. Next, please. 882 records we have obtained from the search, and after these records the duplicate records were removed, and 691 records were screened, and after screening of title and the abstract we have included only 4 abstracts in the review. Next, please. An attempt was made in Pakistan that shows no significant association of economic activities like going out for earning on mental illness, especially depression and anxiety. Another evidence was found that indicates the average monthly cost expenditure is around 3,133 Pakistani rupees of older adults suffering with depression in Pakistan. Beside this, an intervention was also suggested that refers if older people help each other, so this may incur very negligible cost, and this is also beneficial for the society in economic and social perspective. Finally, a way forward was proposed that highlights the cost effectiveness interventions and health economics evaluation along with the utilization of the resource economically are one of the principles to implement and promote the dementia research in Pakistan. Next, please. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohsin. I would now request Dr. Shujat Farooq, Senior Research Economist at Pakistan Institute Development Economics, to please lead this discussion.
Thank you very much, respected chair, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Thanks, Mohsen, for making a good presentation by exploring the economic determinants of mental health problems among the older workers and linking it with SDGs. So I have two sorts of comments and suggestions. A few comments on this presentation of Mohsen, and I will place a few comments and suggestions to this forum as a way forward. So Mohsen, I hope that you will finalize this research and you will make a good report. I have few suggestions. That first, you may add the definition of older adults because you are doing the analysis of older adults. Second, you know that you have conducted certain data. Uh, so I think it is the primary data. So whenever you conduct the primary data, then you have to look that whether the data is conducted from entire Pakistan or it is conducted from a certain particular audience. So then you may call it a case study, or you may generalize the results at Pakistan level. Then you have quoted various studies at the last slide. So I was thinking that most of the literature that you have quoted is outdated. It also suggests that there is very limited research in this area. You may also add the sampling details and methodology, that how you are measuring this mental health. As I mentioned earlier, that there is limited research in Pakistan. So PIL may lead, and we may suggest certain economic interventions and social interventions, like that there are cash transfers, there are microfinance, etc. So there could be certain randomized control trial type experiments. We can do certain interventions, and we can link the impact of various social economic interventions on the mental health. You know that recently there is a huge inflation in Pakistan, particularly the food inflation, and it has massively affected the poor and middle class people. So you may add these things in your reports, and you may also explore certain national data sets to build a stronger case, like demographic health survey, labor force survey, where you can link this mental health with certain demographic issues, with labor force participation, etc., etc. Now I have some general suggestions and some questions that I want to place on this forum, because I hope that this forum will develop certain policies on mental health. So first, I was looking the literature on Pakistan. There is very limited literature. There is very limited research, and one limited reason of this research is the limited data availability. So PIL, and we should make the effort that we should add certain modules and questions on mental health in our national data sets, like mixed multiple indicator cluster survey, HIES, DHS. Second, we should also involve the academic in the research. Right now there is very limited research, so academic may help us in building certain good case studies that can be helpful to designing certain policies. Second, we have good facility as compared to our forefathers, like we have cars, we have good rooms, we have good food, but especially in cities we lack layer. There is rapid urbanization in Pakistan. So, and planners are ignoring the factors that can help in reducing mental health. For example, look at especially smart towns. We don't have libraries, we don't have parks, we don't have recreation activities. So when we talk on SDGs goals and urbanizations and city plannings, we should care that we should create the opportunities that can help in improving the mental health. Third, despite of having good facilities, if we look our surrounding, we are creating mental stress rather than relief. For example, look at media, social media. In last few months, I have interacted with various old age population during COVID-19, and they are very highly stressed. कल मैं एक lady के पास बुजुर्ग lady से बैठा हुआ था, तो कहती क़यामत आ रही है वगैरह वगैरह. So unfortunately, we don't have the mechanism that how we can handle this stress. So we should explore the factors that how we can handle this stress, and they should be documented in policy. Fourth, we all aim to give a good education and health life to our children, but still we are not teaching our children that how to deal with stress. So I suggest that this is the time that we should introduce a civic life subject in our curriculum, where certain modules on mental stress, civic life, disaster risk management, they should be added in our curriculum. And fifth, you know that mental health is a big area, and recently the government has formulated the ISA strategy, where there are 134 policy pillars and initiatives worked in BIS over the last 5 years. So I was observing that there is discussion on general health, but there is not discussion on mental health. So PIL and other organizations, we should work with the poverty alleviation, social safety division, to add certain interventions on mental health, because you know that poor are disproportionately, they have more issues of mental health as compared to the other socioeconomic groups. Sixth, you know that after we should involve the provinces in policy formulation. Seventh, mental health is highly linked with employment and quality of employment, whatever I have observed in literature. So earlier there was a perception that employment is sufficient for poverty alleviation, but I was looking the labor force survey data, and I was quite astonished that now, despite of employment, people are poor. So quality of work matters. And if we look our labor force participation, 74% of our employed labor force is working informal. Women are totally absent from the labor force because their participation is just 20%, and that is only limited to agriculture sector. Even there is no enforcement of minimum wage. I was looking the data that 30% of the graduate women who are employed, they are below the minimum wage. So these are the challenges. Right now we have a good education, especially at university level, where more than 50% enrollment is due to female, but this enrollment is not translated in the labor market. So these are creating this stress. So my last point is that we should, since mental health is disproportionately high among the poor segments, their living is totally the hub of mental stress. So we should think in our growth strategies, in our SDG goals, that how we can create opportunity for the poor. Because right now our approaches to relieve the poor is limited to subsidies, to cash transfers, but we are not creating the opportunities. So these are my thoughts that I consider that they can be added in policy forum. And as being a research economist from PID, I offer my services, and we have MPhil and PhD students. We also offer that we can engage them with you to do more research, and ultimately it will also update the certain data in this field. Thank you.